Hello again, and welcome back to Leicester's The Place with me, Jerry Taggart. And of course, any episode wouldn't be complete without my sidekick and a man whose ancestry dates back to the prehistoric age. It is, of course, the human Diplodocus, Big Matty Elliott. Did you like that one?
I've been waiting for that one to come out yet. That keep you up late last night, yeah? Thinking of that one?
Oh, no, I just thought about it on the drive down.
To be fair, Tags, you called me a lot worse over the years, haven't you?
Now, today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a real treat. Today, we have a member of the current Leicester City playing staff, but not just any member. This guy is the only player to have started every game in the league this season for Leicester City, and he is also fresh from scoring an absolute cracker, which ended up being the winner. It is, of course, Harry Winks. Harry, welcome to Leicester's The Place. Pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for being on it.
Harry.
Thank you.
Nice
Cheers for being on it, you too.
Needed a round of applause there.
After
that build up.
Sure we can put that in somehow, can't we?
Good stuff, Jerry.
Thank you.
Hey, very, very impressed.
Just
mate.
fresh from training, Harry.
Yep.
How was it today, training?
Good. Yeah, we just had 2 days off after the game, so today was a little bit of a tougher session just to get back into it. But everybody looks after themselves well, and I think we've got a good trusted group of players, and everybody takes care of themselves. So yeah, it was good, and we had like I said, a hard session today.
With the training and that, it's a little bit different to the norm, is it? In terms of, I don't know, starting times, duration, the detail to it, and everything.
Yeah, I mean the detail was incredible. I mean since I've come here, I've learned so much already.
Yeah.
But just the way that we prepare training on the opposition and the best way to sort of counter their threat and how we're gonna hurt them is yeah, I mean the details are incredible. So we work on every game individually, on every opposition and what their threats are and what they're good at and how we can exploit that. And like I said, every game's different. We learn different sort of strategies and ideas, and it's it's incredible to
It's interesting that, because on the face of it, I don't know, novices like us or whatever, you look at it and you think Leicester pretty much set up the same week in, week out, and don't let other teams detract from what they want to do. Maybe in possession that is the case to a level, but it's more detailed than that, like you say.
Yeah, I mean,
looking at the opposition's strength, etc.
Yeah, I think on the face of it, we still play the same sort of way and the same sort of base and formation, but in every game there'll be different details that we go into in the game, and we look at where they're stronger and where they're good at pressing, where they're maybe not so good at pressing, and we try and work on ideas in the game of creating overloads and exploiting the opposition. And like I said, every game's different because we're playing against different opposition with different formations and players. So there's always little details, but we keep the sort of same base and the same sort of formation and the same structure. Yeah.
And how are you finding life playing under Enzo, Harry? Because it looks to me like you're loving it.
Tailor-made for it, isn't it?
Tailor-made.
I mean, yeah, it's most I've enjoyed my football probably in my career, to be honest. I mean, I've learned so much already, like I said, and the way that we play is perfect to the way I want to play. I completely buy into the way that the manager wants us to play. I think it's the best way. And you look at the best teams in football in the world. They all play that sort of way. Yeah. And it's intriguing because you go into the games, and from the outside you look and from playing against Man City in the past and stuff, that you think, how do they always keep the ball? How you go for them? And when working with this manager, you find out ways of from him. Obviously, him working with Pep, but there's different ideas and philosophies, and you can see on the pitch how clear it is and the way that the manager explains it to us.
I suppose, in a way, I've been on record saying like every player must be loving playing this style of football and seeing the end results, i.e. chances on goal, goals being scored. You haven't conceded that many, so everybody must be absolutely buzzing in the dressing room. Playing under Enzo.
Definitely, I think if you spoke to every player, they'd probably say everybody's improved as a player as well in these last few months, because it's not anything that us footballers can't do. It's just having the confidence and the backing of the manager to do it. And like he always says to us, if you make mistakes, it's completely fine. It's football, and when you have that freedom on the pitch to go out there and to play with that freedom of not making a mistake and not worrying about it, it makes such a difference to the game. And sometimes, I've found that when you have a manager that tells you to go out there and not worry about mistakes, you actually end up making less mistakes than you do if you have a manager that says don't make mistakes.
Tense, it's less tense.
Exactly, yeah.
So anyway, let's talk about this goal on at the weekend. Your first goal for the club.
Did Enzo teach you how to do that?
I don't think
What's a
anybody
goal?
did. Yeah.
What's a goal to win the game?
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I don't score many goals, and to be honest, I don't really shoot from distance a lot either in my career. But for some reason, in the game, I didn't think too much. It just sort of happened, and I think that's the best way. I mean, if you go up to strike a shot, and if you speak to Vards and Kelly and the players who score more goals, they'll probably tell you the ones that they've scored the most are the ones where they don't think.
Yeah.
And it was the same situation. It just come to me. The touch was good in my path, and I didn't really think too much. And it just and luckily I connected with it well. But yeah, like I said, I don't score many, but it was a great one.
It was a difficult period as well because obviously they had just had a man sent off, QPR, and they're just clinging on for dear life. So they've gone ultra defensive. You were probing, obviously you had seen a lot of the ball, but I thought it actually became a bit more difficult when they went down to 10 men because they were just desperate to get off the pitch with a point.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying that actually as players. We were saying that sometimes when you get a man sent off, it's actually even more difficult to score because they almost consolidate and think, you know what, we'll take the point here and put everyone behind the ball. And it's on paper it goes, you've got 10 men, you should be scoring, but it's sometimes really difficult to break them down, especially if they've got a back five and then they play with the rest of the other five just in front. It's tough. So it sometimes can be difficult, but like I said, we managed to get the win, which is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
That's a problem that you already have encountered, haven't you? Teams sitting deep, sitting back, getting happy to pinch a point, etc. Leicester looking for more than that, but that's another scenario where the manager seems to be confident that he can progress you as a team, and be able to penetrate those deep-rooted defences.
Yeah, I mean, we've come up against different teams this year. Ones where teams have come fully aggressive to press us, and we've come against teams that sit back and make it really, really tough. And each one has their positives and negatives. But like the manager always says to us, in these games you have to be patient, and it's difficult because you have a lot of the ball and you think we've got to score early, and the crowd want us to score early, and we it's about managing that kind of expectation.
I think supporters struggle to get their head around that a little bit. Don't they? They're slowly getting there.
Yeah.
But he keeps stressing that point, doesn't he? Yeah.
He does. I mean, at half time, he always says to us if it's 0-0 and we've had a spell in the first half where we've dominating teams are sat back. He always tells us just to stay calm, be patient. The opportunities will come. Yeah. Because the opposition are going to get tired and we move them from side to side, and eventually the opportunities will get there, and then we get our chances in the last 30 minutes or so. Yeah. But it's all about, I think, on the pitch, it's about trying to keep everybody calm, because when you start to rush it, the opposition, they start to get a bit more confident when you make mistakes, and they start to believe that they can go into the game. So I think for when we play against teams that press or teams that sit off us, we have different kinds of scenarios on what to do.
What about, I was going to ask, what would you say was your most difficult game this season so far?
I think there's been different ones. I mean, I think Sunderland was a difficult game. Yeah. Sunderland, I think, was probably the one game where we look at and we probably thought, they cause us problems defensively. The young side, full of energy, no fear, just went for us. And normally I think in that game we had 2 or 3 big chances. If we go 2 or 3-0 up, it completely changes the dynamic of the game. But we didn't take our chances early in the first half, and like I said, that gives them the belief to grow into it. But they're a good side. They play some really good stuff, and they had no fear. They went for us, and they've got good young players. But the most important thing is we managed to grind out a win. Yeah,
I was thinking, because they're probably the only team that have actually come to King Power this season and thought, we're going to try and impose our game on Leicester and not do what the majority of teams have done this season. Well, it's been home or away. They've just sat back, tried to go on the counter-attack. And in the end, some of the games I've watched, you've cruised when teams have done that, but they definitely came and put the press on you and put the pressure on you. But as with most of the games this season, the result was still the same. And as you say, if you take a couple of those chances, I think the save the keeper makes from Kelechi, where he tips it onto the post. If that goes in, 2-0, bang.
But I think he was also saying in the dressing room after the game, he was quite disappointed in the way we played. We didn't really play as well as we thought we could have, but we after debriefing the game, these are the games in the Championship you have to win. Yeah. And you have to grind out and find another way of winning, and it might not just always be playing good football and scoring loads of goals. You have to find other ways to win, and I think we did that really well, because it was a tough game, and But we found another way of winning.
Yeah, I said the weekend turned out to be a relatively tough game, didn't it? I didn't think, it's fair to say that you probably as a team you weren't at your best, but then I look at the stats and it was like, was it 79%? Was it? I think you can't have been doing too much wrong. Great aggregate chances, shots on goals, etc. So you just seem to have clicked together, don't you? Really, even when you're not playing to your best. Have you surprised yourselves a little bit how well it's gelled?
Yeah, definitely. I think the manager always stresses to us at the moment. What we're doing is not normal in football.
No, I thought there would be a few hiccups along the way, especially early on. Like new players coming in, new manager, new system, etc., style. But it's just sort of
but I think if you look at the Championship, it's such a difficult league. It's so competitive, and anyone can beat anyone. And there's no easy games. There really isn't. Every game has difficulties, and I think it's just credit to the manager and the staff, but also the players. We go into every game as humble as we did the first game of the season, and I think that's the most important thing, is going into every game respecting the opposition, going into the game with a point to prove. Because the minute you go into the game and you think that, I know you're going to win or it's going to be easy, it is the game where you get bitten. So it's
sometimes that can be tough.
Yeah.
For your own psyche to go into a game thinking, right, we're starting from scratch again. And especially when you're younger, I think as well, younger players, when they've had a good run in the team, they're scoring a few goals, to keep keep themselves grounded going into that next game. So
yeah, I think that's why we've got good people in the dressing room. We've got humble players, we've got experienced players, and we've got a good squad of players who can manage that, and we sort of try to keep it as relaxed as possible, because if you go in there too high, you can easily get punished in this division. And every game we make sure we go into every game with the same mentality, because we want to keep winning, and the whole way to do that is to be as humble as you can the week before.
Yeah, it looks like you've got hungry players as well. For whatever reason, different stages of their career. I think that's important. Myself, from my own experiences, is players who, I don't know, got something to prove or determined to get back to where they think they should be, etc. So, there's an element of that in the team as well, isn't there? And I think you can see the desire really shining through. It's like, say, at the end of the game on Saturday, the celebrations there, it was almost like you'd got through to a Wembley final, wasn't it? And some people might think, well, okay, it's Leicester against QPR. They're struggling, but there's a real sort of fight and fire in the squad, isn't there?
There is, yeah. I mean, like after Sunderland, go back to that game, after the game, the manager wasn't happy with our reaction in the dressing room afterwards.
Did he have a word with you at half-time, can I ask, against QPR? Because you came out early.
No, he didn't. No, QPR was.
Maybe he'd given you a bit.
No, QPR. He was just keep with it. He said it's a tough game. We knew it was going to be a tough game. They're going to frustrate us, but be patient, stick with it. It's going to come. And a few tactical tweaks and what to do as well. But
so no, QPR. About Sunderland.
Yeah, Sunderland. It was. We come in the dressing room. I think we was tired. It was a physical game, and I think as players we weren't happy with how we performed. Even though we got the win, we was obviously really happy with the win. But I think as players we thought we should have performed better. And he told us these are the games you have to celebrate. You have to be up. You have to enjoy them. And we got a bit of a telling off for that, which I think is right. And then after QPR, we won.
Telling off for not celebrating. Right, okay, I think I've got that one.
But I think when you look at it, it does make sense, because it's a game where we've ground out the win.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're just as important as the ones where we've
yeah, that's true. Well. At the same token, it's good that you set your standards. That if you're frustrated that you've fallen short of that, but say, mind you, certainly in our day, a win's a win.
Yeah. Well, exactly. And the manager always says to us, you can't take them for granted. So I think that's one thing that we're definitely not doing. We're really enjoying and taking the wins for how they are, because a lot of us players in the last couple of years haven't won as regularly as this. So it's and winning at any level is great. So we got to keep trying to keep that going.
Yeah. Do you feel there's a sort of inner determination to get this club back to the Premier League, where certainly over recent years, it belongs basically? So
yeah, it does. I mean, before I signed here, I mean, for me, Leicester's a Premier League club. It's a club that's been in the Premier League for so many years. It was only a few years ago where they were knocking on for trying to get Champions League and doing well in Europa League. So for me, it's the infrastructure, the staff, everything. It's a Premier League club, but right now is in the Championship, and you have to respect that, and you have to make sure you do everything you can to get out of that. And everybody knows that, and I think that's the most important thing. We've got such a good squad where everybody's so keen to get the club back to where it belongs.
Sorry, I think of it from your own personal position is probably the perfect scenario as well, isn't it? Rather than, for instance, we'll maybe speak about it in a bit. You went out on loan to Sampdoria last year, and you've come back to England, and then rather than perhaps going to a team in the Premier League that was struggling, maybe, you're coming to a team that's hopefully back on the up, and you can excel, and there's a challenge there ahead for you, isn't it? And play the perfect football for you. You can. Was that all part of your thinking when you come into Leicester?
Yeah, I mean, before I signed, I spoke with the manager, and the manager explained how he wants to play, and for me that was perfect in the way I want to play, and I want to learn and keep improving, and that was one of the key. And also, I wanted to join a club early to make sure that I could get a full pre-season and get as fit as possible. And as soon as I heard about Leicester, for me it was a no-brainer. It's such a
good fit.
It's such a great club, and I wanted to get in as soon as I could and get with the lads, get with the manager, learn from the beginning. It was in hindsight it was a perfect club for me because it's a family club as well. It's run by really good people that work in the club as well. And since I've arrived, I've got nothing but positive to say about the club.
Yeah, it's all gone well. Fair to say.
So far, yeah.
Up to now.
Yeah.
Sure.
I want to ask you about your relationship with Ricardo Pereira in midfield, because that seems to have... I did a Q&A with Connor Cody a couple of weeks ago, and he said when Enzo said he was going to put Ricardo into midfield, they were like flabbergasted somewhat, but it's turned out to be a masterstroke. And you two together, your relationship on the pitch has just blossomed. Yeah,
but I mean, Ricardo's such an intelligent player, and he's got all the credentials to be a top midfield player because he's technical. He can take the ball under pressure. He sees the pictures, and he's intelligent enough to understand what the manager wants us to do as well. And since he's come in, I think you wouldn't know he's been a right back his whole career. He's a top player. He's a top pro, and I think there's no surprise why he's doing so well.
Do you think your relationship's improving though? Do you get that? Sometimes when you play with a player, so me and him played centre halves, and we, not telepathic, but we sort of knew what the other player was going to do before they did it. Do you think that
pathetic we were?
Yeah. Basically, I had to cover his ass. But what I'm trying to say is, do you think that relationship, without speaking to each other, but where he's going to move before he does it, or with his body shape on the pitch, stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, from the first session when the manager put the drills on and we was working as a pair. I think we just understood each other's game. We understood exactly what the manager wants us to do, and like I said, because he's such an intelligent player and he understands what the manager wants. He can see the pictures as well, and it's I think our relationship on the pitch is great. When I have the ball, I know exactly where he's going. He knows exactly where I'm going, and I think it's also credit to the training. We work a lot on it in training, and we work on those relationships. Just like when Hamza plays there as well, it's the same relationship with Hamza. And I think that's the same with everybody on the pitch. We create relationships not only on the pitch but off the pitch. Everybody gets on so well, which in my experience makes such a difference to the team.
Without a doubt.
He's a relative newcomer, as are a number of players in the squad. But do you feel you've already got like a senior role amongst the playing squad?
Well,
there's a few other members as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask Connor Vards and all them, they'll probably say no, but...
Exactly. There you go. I'm thinking of them two straight away. Connor Cody obviously hasn't been at the club that long, but he'll have a certain position for himself, wouldn't he? I imagine there. But are you mediator for the...
I try to make sure I can help in any way I possibly can, whether that's on the pitch and before the games, and making sure that we're on it and we're making sure we're doing the right things, even in training, because...
do you feel you got that? You're probably too humble to admit it, but like you've got that standing in the squad where you can, the youngsters will come up and ask you, won't they? One, because of your experience, but also because of the way you're performing.
Well, I hope so. I mean, when I go on the pitch, I try to make sure that I'm as focused as I can, and I try to make sure that others around are as well. And it's not just me. There's 7 or 8 other players in the team that have that mentality,
That's crucial.
which is crucial. Yeah, like you say, it's crucial because especially before the game, if you're playing 3 games in a week, you know, have you won 2 games out of the 3, and you're going into the 3rd one, it's just as important to be just as up for the game and just as ready for the game as the first game of the week, because that team's going to want to beat you. So it's you know, in the dressing room, on the pitch, I make sure I try to speak as much as I can to get everybody focused for the game.
Yeah, well, that seems sort of part of your game as well. And like the older you get, you realise how much communication is massive as well, isn't it? You know, in whatever area on the pitch. But I just get the feel that the players that they've taken, the supporters have. The players seem to have taken to you as well, wouldn't it? Because it's not always easy coming straight in, is it? But it's just clicked all round.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I mean, when you first join, and you both know, when you first join a club, you get nervous. No matter if it's in the academy or what.
You don't know.
As soon as you walk in, you don't know what the lads are going to be like.
How you're going to be received, or here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever,
exactly. But like, we've got such a good group of lads, and since I've come in, everybody's been so welcoming, and likewise, and when I've been here for a couple of weeks, and someone else comes in, it's the same. It's the same way, and it keeps going on. But I think that's credit to the club. You know, we've recruited really good people, and people that want to take the club forward and want to improve themselves, and like you said, have a point to prove as well in individually to get back to the level.
There was one thing I noticed a couple of weeks ago. It started, I think it was Stoke at home, and then obviously the Sunderland game, and then it was more of a collective thing at QPR at the weekend. Was your reaction after the final whistle went? And I seen your reaction at Stoke after the final whistle went, and you were like,
puffing,
you were
blowing.
proper, giving it some. You know, and I just noticed it straight away. I was doing the commentary on that game, and I thought, wow, look at Harry Winks' reaction to winning that game.
It means something.
And then it happened again against Sunderland. As I said, obviously it was a really hard game, tough game. And then again on Saturday after, obviously your strike. Can you just talk us through a little bit about that?
Have you seen the win bonus to that?
Apart from the win bonus.
Yeah, no, I think it's just I just love winning, and when you win a game, and especially if the game's tough, you know, when a game's difficult and you win the game, you come through at the end and you got the 3 points. It's such a great feeling, and I think. Last year, you touched on, I went on loan to Sampdoria, and I won 1 game, and it was difficult.
Right.
It was really, it's difficult, and when you lose every week, or you know you're struggling for results, it's hard to, you know, on your mood, on everything, it's difficult. And when you come here and you win, I just try not to take anything for granted, because I've seen how difficult it can be, and when I go on the pitch and we win, for me, it's such a great feeling, and I know that at the end of the game, we've just won. We're still at the top of the table. We've got another 3 points against another difficult opposition, and it's just that one step closer to where we want to be. But it's also that kind of relief at the end of the game that you've got the win. We've played well, and
it's great to see. Don't get me wrong. I love seeing it. You know, the reaction, how much it means to the players winning. But you just sort of stood out on the pitch for me. And I thought the Stoke game, I didn't particularly think they were that good. They went mega. They parked 2 buses in front of the goal, Stoke, didn't they? Yeah. But I just noticed straight away it was a great reaction.
I think also just when I'm in the game and I'm in that kind of zone and that mind, you know, that passion it's just a way of letting it out at the end of the game. You know, you've had 90 minutes of pure focus, and it's not just that; it's the build up the 2 or 3 days before where you're focused for the game, and then it's sort of just that way of letting it out and just feeling. You know, that relief of the win.
Brilliant.
It's funny you should say that. That's just bringing back little things myself, because people used to say that, I must have been amazing playing football. You must have had so much fun. And like half the time, it was just relief.
Relief.
like got the job done.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
And you were like, that's where that emotion comes out.
Exactly, and then you're on to the next one.
It's a job. You ain't got time to have fun too much, have you?
No.
Maybe end of season or whatever. But yeah, I can see that come through from. And also a little bit of not relief, but like fair to say, you know, you've had highs and you've had dips as well in your career as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you appreciate it perhaps more than the average player.
Well, I do, and this season, and it's again another thing the manager says before the game, and I think we're all trying to take on board, is that, you know, we should enjoy football. You know, football to be enjoyed. It's not. I know it's a job, and I know it's important to win, but players play their best when they're enjoying football.
Yeah.
And when we go out on the pitch and we have smiles on our face and we enjoy how we're playing and we all buy into it, you can see that on the pitch, and players do a lot more, and then you end up winning the game, but also enjoying the game. And I think that's key as well for me, is to enjoy my football, which is exactly what I can say I am, and I think all the lads would say that as well.
Yeah, it certainly shows at the moment, doesn't it? But all right, there we go. Probably enough about Leicester for now. Well, I'm sure we'll come back to it. What about in terms of location-wise? We were chatting just before. You still live down London Way.
Yep.
Are you thinking of coming up this way soon?
Yeah. I'm looking to move into Nottingham at some point, and I think that's still a good distance from training ground. I think it's 20-30 minutes away. So yeah, I'll be looking to come up here. And at the moment, I'm still commuting, which is difficult, especially on a Friday. Friday traffic ain't great, on the M1. But we've got the hotel, the training ground here, so I stay here a few nights a week if I need to as well. And at the moment, it's been balancing really well. But when we get to that kind of December, January, February, where it's cold, it's loads of games and a lot of travelling, it's probably best for my body and the travel to be
You haven't got
to
a
be
driver
local.
these days, or
No, I drive myself. No.
some of the lads have got drivers.
Yeah, some of the lads have.
Well, used to have, I know that.
Yeah. I take one every now and again, but more I just drive myself.
Makes sense.
Yeah. It helps both. I do a bit of both, to be fair, sometimes.
Johnny Evans used to have a 2.5 hour kip in the back, didn't they?
Yeah, Connor Cody does.
down and-
Connor Cody does that as well.
Does he?
You make sure he has a.
Sounds good. I'd like a bit of that.
I actually wanted to ask you a question on the training ground, because obviously you played at Spurs and their training ground is renowned as one of the best. And I'm just wondering, how does this training ground compare? Or how do both training grounds compare?
I mean, yeah, they're both amazing. They're both incredible. And since I've come here, I've seen a lot of similarities between the both. And I think because actually the manager of the training ground,
Yes.
Tony, he used to work at Tottenham.
That's right.
So I know him through there as well, and it's very similar. The flow of it's very similar. I think it was similar architects as well, so you can see it's very, very similar. But yeah, it's
Nice
amazing.
place to come in every day.
It's a lovely place to come in every day. Yeah, it makes
Golf yet?
I haven't played golf yet. No, I need to go on the 9-hole, but I haven't had.
I'm having you down as a golfer.
I'm not great. I play a little bit in the summer when it's nice weather, but I'm not great.
Not
no.
regular.
No, not regular. No. I will give it a go at some point, but we've had so many games and
Difficult,
and I'm travelling back to London, so it's I'd rather just get on the road and just head back before miss rush hour. So.
Yeah, can't blame you on that one. The last thing I used to think about back in the day was finish training and play golf for 5 hours.
Well, exactly, yeah. Because you're on your legs, it's tiring. I'd rather just get home and sleep or something. Yeah.
I have a kip.
Yeah.
It was my favourite pastime.
Still is.
Still is. So yeah, shall we go back to the beginning then, Matt?
Yeah, Harry's thinking, back to the beginning, we only just started. Looking for the end. We won't keep it too much longer, don't worry.
Yes. So Harry, obviously you started at Tottenham. 5 years old, I believe, is that correct?
Yeah, 5 years old, yeah.
When you got signed up by their academy?
Yeah.
Tottenham's academy?
Yeah, I mean, it was, it was so many years ago, but they used to have a training ground for the young 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds in White Hart Lane, the old stadium. There was a little ball court, and we used to, my mum and dad used to drive me up there twice a week into London, into...
How far? Hemel Hempstead?
Hempstead.
Was it an hour?
On a good day, yeah.
On that
After you think about after school, the school track, the rush hour. It was, I mean, when I look back, I think just massive credit to my family to do that. Yeah, it's a huge, especially at 5 years old when you don't really know if your kid's going to make it or, it's when I look back, it's amazing and I'll never forget that. But going up there and training the ball court, then we moved over to Chigwell, which is Essex Way, which again was another journey. Moved to a couple of different training grounds as they was building the new one and then I just went through the age groups and then.
Who were the players then that were playing for Tottenham? Because you were a Tottenham fan as well, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
So who were like the players at the time playing for Tottenham when you were growing up and you were like, oh, I want to be the next?
That was when would have been Jamie Redknapp would have been there, early years. Modric, but that was as I got older. Freddie Canute, players like that. Years ago, I can't really remember the squad. So,
No, that's good.
Well, you know, 27.
27, yeah.
20 years
Freddie,
ago.
Jermaine Defoe, Robbie Keane.
Our era. 20 years ago, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Like that. Freddie Canute, I remember him. Oh.
Yeah, good player.
I tried to jump once against him, win a header, and he chested it. And I was like, how'd you do that?
Yeah, no, there was some good players back then. I think with loads of different managers, and I never really got to go too often to the games. I get the odd ticket here and there from the academy, but we never had a season ticket or anything like that. We just any odd time we get a ticket, we'd go. But yeah, there was loads of different players.
A long time in the academy, but did you always, and again, you're probably too modest to admit it, did you always feel that you were going to be a professional?
Not really. I mean,
you certainly hoped it. But...
I hoped it. Yeah. I mean, I was always short. I was tiny when I was growing up. When I was coming through the academy, I was always one of the smallest. And I remember growing up from like under 12s to under 16s. I was always one of the smallest, and it was always difficult physically. You know, people would be a lot bigger. They'd mature.
People overlook it, don't they?
Yeah. I had to work a lot on, and one thing that Tottenham, credit to them in the academy, they're big on, technical skills and technical ability and just working on that. And they didn't really look too much about the physical side of things. It was always about, they knew that the physical side would come. But I would say I was always technically up there with one of the best in the age group. But physically, it took me a long time to sort of catch up to some of the other lads.
Yeah, I can see that. But like sometimes when you're within a squad or an academy, you can sort of tell who's not favoured, but who's probably likely. Yeah, I mean, did you not really have that feeling, or thought it was in the balance or whatever?
I think I mean, I used to. If I'm looking back, I would always back myself and thought, you know what, I think I would.
Oh, you played at England level from a young age, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I always thought I'd had enough to get another contract at the end of the year, and keep going on, but. You get to a point where especially at young level, when you're so emotional up and down, you have a couple of bad games, you think your career's over, and you think you're never going to make it. And but my dad and my mum, when they come to the games, they'd always, don't worry about it, just enjoy it, balance it off. And we had great coaches growing up as well, academy managers and stuff, who really pushed me on. And yeah, I mean, I'm just so thankful to them as well. Yeah.
Any other players like your sort of age group came through?
We had Josh Onomah. Josh Onomah. He was a really good player growing up, and played for Spurs a number of times as well. Done really well. Conor Ogilvie now, I think is at Portsmouth. Luke McGee, the goalkeeper, is now at Tranmere.
Did you have a decent run in the Youth Cup at all?
To the semi-final. To the semi-final, and then we lost, I think, to Fulham. But no, we was never that academy that would win the league or go on a massive run in the Youth Cup. But one thing that we always did, they always felt like there was a pathway into the first team. You always felt like there was an opportunity if you did well, and especially when Pochettino came in, definitely there was an opportunity to get into the first team.
Yeah. Well, were you 20? Is that right? 20 years old?
I think I was 18 when I made my debut.
Debut against Liverpool.
Oh no, that was my debut.
18 was in UEFA, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Premier League debut. Premier League debut was against Liverpool. Yeah. And you replaced Christian Eriksen.
Yeah, but I didn't touch the ball. Wow. I come on for 30 seconds and didn't touch the ball.
Didn't you? Wow.
But it was an amazing feeling. I remember going home and I didn't touch the ball, but I was so happy and so proud. And yeah, but that was during the time when we had that incredible team.
Yeah.
When Pochettino was
I just listed some of the midfielders that Spurs had along with yourself as a young lad. And Victor Wanyama, Eric Dyer, Christian Eriksen, Dele Alli, Musa Dembele, Musa Sissoko, and probably more. I mean, what's a midfield that is?
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, especially Musa Dembele. He's the one player who, to this day, is the best player I've ever played with.
A lot of people say that, don't they?
Yeah, he could do everything. He was strong. He was technical with both feet. I mean, he could move well. We had that great balance. I mean, he was a really, really good guy. Really, really humble. Really, worked hard. But I learned a lot from Musa just around the place and stuff. But as a player, I mean, he was just incredible.
Top class player, but you thought there's still more to come, like to show. Actually, come the game times or whatever, his influence on the game. You could see the qualities he had. But he didn't sort of I might be wrong, you might think different. He didn't sort of grasp the game by the scruff of the neck like you felt he was capable of maybe at times.
I think in that season, in those couple of seasons with Poch, where he was so key, and just watching him in the match, I mean, he was pivotal to everything we did.
Yeah.
He was great off the ball, he was great on the ball. I mean, everything went through him. He was that key player, and you'd probably say...
Dele Alli and Harry Kane sort of take the headline.
Yeah, I think that was always the case. When you got a striker and a number 10 who's scoring so many goals and doing so well, they're always going to get the headlines. But I think if you ask anybody in that team who the best player, they'll play with, everyone will say Musa. Everyone will say Musa Dembele,
Yeah, I've heard that numerous times. But not easy breaking through into that lot, is it?
No, it was. But I mean, training was so tough. So you can imagine when you're 18, 19, 20, training with them, training was so intense and difficult, and you're playing with top players, so you have to raise to another level. And I mean, when I look back, I think it was brilliant to train with those players because, like even like Christian Eriksen, another one who was just technically incredible, one of the most technically most efficient players I've seen. Just everything, his first touch was just immaculate every time. And I think when you see that up close in training and the level and the standards that they train at, you could see why they've gone on to have such incredible careers.
Yeah, it was an array of talent, that's for sure. Which makes it all the more miraculous that Leicester were able to overcome them that season, wasn't it, in the Premier League? But I mean, it's a bit ironic now, and it's a bit, I don't know, you probably don't want to say totally, but how was the feel about the rivalry that sort of developed that particular season when Leicester win it? Because there was a bit of friction between the two teams got created, probably for the supporters as much as anything, wasn't it? Because they were saying, Leicester City, we're coming for you, and it sparked off a bit from there, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I remember that season. I was with the team, travelling a lot, going to all the games. I think we played Leicester away, and I think if I'm right, it was 1-1 the score, and I think we went 1-0 up, and straight away after, I think it might be Mahrez has come in and scored, and I remember thinking straight away that this team's not going away. You know, they're
stubborn.
And you know it worked perfectly. And when even speaking to Vards and Sharky now, you know, you can see why that team done so well, because that sort of team spirit and that they know exactly what they were, hard to beat, but had quality as well to score. And I remember it firsthand watching them, and just thinking that this team's not going to go away. And I think it was probably late February, March when Leicester went on that run where you think, you know, I think they're going to go the way.
The result of White Hart Lane as well, didn't they? With was it Robert Huth?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Scoring. Was it 1-0?
I think it was 1-0. Yeah.
Winner, yeah, which I don't know, went against the odds really. Like, even though Leicester were at the top, you're waiting for them to fail, aren't you? But
they didn't.
Didn't happen. No.
No, but credit to them. We say that. I mean, I say that with.
Did the Tottenham boys think they were going to overcome them?
No, there was never that feeling. I think it was almost like two teams who were just kind of overachieving to a point where both want to win the league, and it was just a battle of who could sustain it. But when we look back now, I speak to Cody about it. We speak with the Vards and Sharky about it, and we say it's unbelievable.
Yeah, still crazy.
Still, I mean, I still can't believe that they won that. I mean, incredible achievement.
10 points.
Yeah, incredible achievement, and like, I think that'll never happen again in the Premier League. I can't think of something as amazing as that.
Fun times though, that's for sure. Yeah. Fun times.
For Leicester fans, I suppose,
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyone except Tottenham fans.
Well, exactly,
really.
exactly, yeah.
Pretty much, wasn't it? But we'll move on from that one anyway. But we've heard enough about Leicester winning the league, I suppose. Or have we?
We can always drop it in.
Exactly. Drop it in. The one player that just mentioned there quickly, Harry Kane. His record against Leicester wasn't bad at all, was it? He seemed to score every time they played, didn't they? But what about him in terms of his? Obviously, we know his abilities and what he's like, and what incredible goal scorer he is, whatever. But what's it, like his mentality? And is he like the super pro that people portray him as?
Yeah, exactly. Super focused, super driven, and always wanting to improve. And when you see the top player, one of the best players in world football, doing everything right, you then have to follow. You have to say, if he's doing that, then to be to that level, you've got to do the same thing. And just little things, but you can think about after training. You know, after every session, he'd go in the ice bath. He'd make sure he was ready for the next session. And I know they're only small details, but for him, it was that consistency, which is why I think he's got to the level he's at.
And that discipline as well.
Yeah, the discipline as well, and you know he has his own physio, he has his own nutritionist, and he
does he,
he makes sure he does everything right. And
Ronaldo-esque.
Yeah. I think to be at that level, at that top level, you have to have that extra.
He couldn't get in Leicester's team, could he, for a little while? That's how bizarre it can be, isn't it?
That's football,
albeit at a younger age, but yeah.
Yeah, that just shows how crazy football is. I remember him in the academy, and I mean, he was always a top finisher. I remember Harry, when he was a few
Yeah.
years older than me, I remember always watching him in the academy thinking this guy is a top finisher. But to go on to the level he's got onto is, you know, it's a huge credit to him. And I think he deserves everything he's got.
Well, he emulated you at the weekend, didn't he, for Bayern Munich with a...
I think his was
with
way
a
better.
well, no, because we're going to get the list goal. You say you didn't score many, but you scored this goal against Ludogorets, is it?
Oh, yeah.
From 54 yards.
In from 54 yards.
On the left-hand side, smash one in. And now I know you come out...
Yeah, I should have said that. I did, yeah. I come out after and said I didn't mean it.
You
But
didn't mean it.
I wish I didn't. I wish I wish I didn't, yeah.
Well, yeah, talk us through that. Talk us through that goal, because that was an incredible finish, even if you didn't mean it. Were you looking for Harry Kane at the back post, was it?
It was Gareth. Gareth Bale was running
Gareth
down the
Bale.
side, and I saw him, and I can't remember. I think I just overcooked it, or I shanked it, and I got a bit of a swerve, and it went in the top corner. I mean, if I didn't say it was a pass, I could have got away with it.
Could have got away with that.
But I was too honest afterwards. I said, as soon as I said it after, I said, "Oh no!" I said to my mum, "I was like, oh, I shouldn't have said that."
Claim what you can.
Yeah.
Perhaps subconsciously you thought Gareth scored enough. I'll just hook it in.
But I think nowadays on Twitter and stuff, if you look at my eyes, you probably would have seen I was looking over there and the goal's here. So I would have got found out anyway.
Yeah. And Harry Kane meant his.
Yeah, he definitely meant his. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it, Jerry, but some effort. He's like well in his own half.
We done it in pre-season a few years ago as well against Juventus in a pre-season game, and it was a winner as well, and he just one touch from the halfway line, he just like a bullet straight over the goalie's head. So when he does it, you definitely he meant it.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's Harry Kane. His qualities are, unquestionable, aren't they? But I was speaking to someone the other day who was talking about him, and when you see him live, you appreciate him even more, don't you?
Yeah.
His all-round game as well. It's not just the highlights, sticking the ball in the net. His touch, his awareness, his vision, and that.
Yeah, everything. His hold-up play, he's strong. He can drop deep, use his head. I mean, speaking to some of the defenders who played against him here, they all say how good he was.
Yeah.
To play and how hard he is to play against.
Yeah, very much so. Well, you played with a number of big names through the years, haven't you, at Tottenham and whatever, and found it. Did you find it frustrating at times that you didn't get as long a run as you would have liked occasionally, or injury took its toll? That's too much to say, but it caused you a few problems as well, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I knew that though. I amazing years there. I played over 200 games. For me, was as a Spurs fan, I didn't just to have one would have been amazing.
Yeah.
So I was to look back, I'm so proud of that. But I also know as when you come through the academy, it's always difficult. You're always that one who maybe can be the one who's left out,
It's strange, isn't it? Yeah.
The one who's pushed aside, or it's
Shake that sort of
it is difficult.
stigma off.
Yeah, it is difficult to get rid of that. But like I said, I had some amazing years there, and had played in some incredible matches with some incredible players, and incredibly proud.
Champions League final.
Yeah, another one which was incredible.
What was that like?
I mean,
that is the pinnacle of football, and you started in that game, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean the result was. Still to this day was devastating. Yeah, but to say I've played in it was one of the most proudest moments in my career, because it was tough because I had a groin surgery I think about 5 or 6 weeks before that as well. I was struggling with my groin for the last few hours. For the few games of the season. So I'd made that decision in case we got to the final to go for the surgery, and worked so hard to get back. And I think I come back within 2 or 3 weeks of the surgery, and was training with the team in the lead up to it. So I had a good couple of weeks training, but to get the nod to play was something that I'll remember forever. Yeah.
Well, that's how well you must have been doing at that time. So you had surgery before, and you find yourself back in the team. We saw the likes. Was it Wanyama and not Sissoko, one or two other top class players on the bench? But you were well in favour at that stage, weren't you?
Yeah, that's probably one of my best seasons at Spurs. That year, I was playing quite regularly. I played, I think, most of the Champions League games in the build-up, and I think I just come out in the first leg of the quarter-final against City, and I think I worked so hard, and I made sure that the club could see that I was coming in early to make sure to try and get myself fit, because I wanted to be available to play. And then when I got the call up to start, it was surreal. It was incredible. The build-up, the process, everything around it was amazing, but just the result, which was still to this day, it kills me that we didn't win that. But
So near yet so far.
yeah, but it was an incredible like atmosphere and experience. Yeah,
Unbelievable.
Fair play to you. Like the level you've played at, and then things don't sort of progress as maybe you hoped or foresaw for one reason or another, and then, but then you some players would let that affect them a little bit, and I think maybe they would perhaps drift along with their careers, but you can tell there's a determination about you to get yourself back as high as you can, as quick as you can.
yeah. I think there was after that we had two or three managers that probably didn't really see eye to eye as much in style of play and as you know the way that what they wanted to do and what I offer and things like that. And I made the decision. It wasn't a fallout with the club, but I made the decision last year to go out on loan to just wanted to get games and feel that love again for football and play regularly and feel respected on the pitch. And it was a difficult year, but a great year. I loved it last year, but I made that decision to go. And same with this year. I wanted to leave because I wanted to feel part of something. Yeah, a bit of purpose. I wanted a challenge. I wanted to fight for something as such. And when I heard that it was Leicester and there was a chance to get promoted and to go back to the Premier League, it was a challenge that I'd love to accept and something to fight for every day.
Yeah, you can see that.
Which is exactly what I've wanted the last few years of my career, really. Yeah.
Just quickly on the Sampdoria, we won't over deliberate on it, but in terms of lifestyle, cultural side,
yeah, amazing. Yeah.
not bad, Italy.
Yeah, lovely.
That's my favourite country.
Yeah.
Italy. I love going there.
Well, it was the north, but it was right on the seafront, and it was every day the weather was amazing. The food's fresh. It was brilliant. It's just the way of living out there is incredible. It was and it's like interesting to see the league and the way that they build up to games and the fans and everything. It was just a completely different atmosphere. But I loved it. I really embraced it and enjoyed it. But I can't speak Italian, but so don't ask.
You didn't get the lingo, no?
No, I tried, but
Did you try?
I tried.
You got lessons?
I did. Yeah, I had lessons at the house, and I just couldn't catch it. It's so difficult. Yeah, and it doesn't help when you go into training ground. A lot of the lads speak English as well.
Oh, okay.
So it's I just managed to, and I knew I was only there for half a year or so. So I just.
Who was manager there?
When I first signed, it was Marco Giampaolo. He was manager of AC Milan and Sampdoria. And then I never actually got to play for him because when I signed, I was injured for 4 or 5 months. And then Dejan Stankovic, he used to play for Inter Milan. Top player. Yeah. He come in and he was another interesting coach. He was good, but interesting. Yeah, it was.
Make of that what you will.
Yeah, but it was. I learned from him as well. Being a top midfielder, it was nice to learn from him. But it was just a really, really difficult situation to be at. There was no money at the club. It was the chairman was not selling. There was a big problem with the club potentially going bust. Fans were coming to the training ground and the hotel. It was mad, but great experience, and I loved it. Every minute of it, I loved.
From volatile in Italy, isn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of things in the background and what have you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help going there injured as well, does it?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I turned up on my first session and I had a bit of an ankle problem before that at Spurs, and we managed to patch it up and felt okay. I was training, it was all right, and I went out there on my first session and just sort of rolled it, and I just couldn't get back from it. I had 3 or 4 weeks out, a few injections, come back, done it again. Went back to England, a few injections, come back about 4 weeks later, and then done it again.
Really?
And there was clearly an issue with it, and then we made the decision to go for surgery, and since then it's been perfect. I've had no issues since, and
touch wood.
Touch wood, yeah.
Keep the same, yeah.
Touch wood, yeah.
Good. Well, you've had a few obstacles in the way, haven't you? Along through your career, but it shows the mentality that you've got. You keep being positive and going forward, and you're certainly on the upward rise at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, football is, you have so many ups and so many downs. You'll know as well. It's how you never know. You probably have more downs than you do ups in football. So I think it's so important to enjoy the ups as much as you can. And
absolutely.
And then I suppose when you have the bad, you realise just how good it is to sort of cherish the ups. And right now, I think we're having a great season and everyone's enjoying it. But it's important to remember that as well and enjoy that.
Yeah, very much so.
So we'll touch on England briefly.
Yeah.
To end off. So 10 England caps. 1 goal. We watched your goal against Kosovo.
Yep.
Lovely first touch. Defender went one way and you went the
your
other.
first touch.
Great finish. Give
Good finish.
Give the keeper the eyes one way and then slotted it in the bottom corner. But again, so you had a bit of a successful period when you first broke into the England squad, and then disaster again with your ankle just before the World Cup in 2018.
Yeah, the World Cup. Yeah, that was. I think I had surgery on. Or I had a big injury that one. But I think when I scored was for the Euros, and then that one was. It was COVID. I think COVID come in, and we had that spell where there was. I think games stopped for a while, and I didn't really get back into the team playing regularly as much to get selected for the Euros for that one. But it was I was having a real good spell at the time. I think I was playing quite often for England. I was being called up regularly and playing well for Spurs at the time. And I think just that sort of COVID moments. I think just when the Euros got pushed back, pushed back the year, and just found it difficult to get those regular games again to get selected.
Is that something you'd like to get back into? The English squad?
Definitely. Yeah, I mean,
this is like a good starting place for you.
Yeah, because Leicester's such a respected club, and I understand England. You know, they like to select players in the Premier League, which I get, and but I think as much as I'd love to be back in the England squad and play for England again, would be amazing to do that. My most important thing is Leicester, really, just playing regularly here and enjoying it, improving, and then I found that when I got selected for England in the past, it's when you don't think about it. The more you think about it and try and strive to get to it, it doesn't happen. So I think the most important thing is
concentrate on what you're doing
on the club, and then hopefully things will take care of itself. But if I start thinking too much about that, I found in the past that doesn't work too well.
No regrets about not choosing Spain then?
No, well, I think before I played for England, there was this talk because I've got Spanish relatives, and I think I missed.
Is that right? Is it was
my
grandparents?
My grandparents. So my nan, she was Spanish, but she was born in England.
Right.
So her family's Spanish, her name was Spanish, everything about her was Spanish. But because she was born in England,
doesn't work.
Technically, I couldn't get the.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've always classed myself English anyway.
I had similar with my grandfather was Irish but born in England.
So you couldn't get it as well.
They won't let him in the Ireland now.
There's a lot of countries. I'm not allowed in quite a few countries. But.
Did you get a call or was it a letter?
From England or?
Yeah, when you got that first call up.
I think I got a text. I didn't get a call. I think you just get a text message from one of the liaison officers at the camp and just saying you've been selected for England. Oh, actually no, I didn't. No, tell a lie. My first call up, it was I was with the 21s. Okay. I was with England 21s, and someone got injured, and I got called down to the under 21s manager's office, and I went down there. There's a few coaches in there, and I thought we're just going to debrief about tactics or talk about the game. And he just said that there's been a couple of injuries. Gareth wants to select you for the national team. You're going away with them. Take your stuff. I was in St George's. Take your stuff. Move over to the first team side. You're with them. And then I couldn't believe it. I remember moving across, thinking, wow, like what's going on?
What age were you then?
I think I would have been roughly 20, maybe 20.
You only played a handful of games for Tottenham, hadn't you? Or?
Yeah, I was only played about not half a season, if that. I think maybe 20 or 21.
Right.
I would have been, I think. And then
sweetie bomb time that as well, isn't it?
But it's so exciting as well. I think we played like Lithuania. I think it was like 2 or 3 days later, and I thought I'd go there and just be a bit of a fanboy, just go sit in the stands, train with the team, and then he put me in the starting 11, and I couldn't believe it. It was on AstroTurf as well. I remember thinking, oh God, I've got no moulds. I've got no moulds. It's in England debut on AstroTurf in Lithuania. I thought, but I was so excited. I couldn't wait, and played really well, and we won 1-0, got man of the match, and it was it was amazing. Yeah, really good few days, and then
lovely.
Yeah, it was incredible kind of rise to get into.
More to come, hopefully, eh?
Yeah, I hope so, but. Yeah, I try not to think too far ahead, but it'd be amazing if I could, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that pretty much covers most angles up to now. There might be a volume 2. You might have the fortune of seeing us again sometime.
There's plenty more to come from this.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
No, that'd be great, in a couple of months maybe we'll sit down again and see where we are.
Absolutely. Yeah, but Harry, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks very much. Thanks
a lot
Thanks
for
having
coming
me
along today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you very much. Cheers, you too. Thanks very much.